Let's move on. We want to talk rally, and Craig Breen is on the line to talk to us about an unbelievable achievement at the weekend in Sweden, where he finished second in the World Rally Championship event. Craig, good morning to you. How you doing?
Not so bad, guys. How are you?
So, the snow, this is the main snow event in the World Rally Championship. No doubt it presents a particular challenge, but you obviously quite like it.
Yeah, it's a unique event. It's the only full winter rally that we get in the championship, so it's special event. We do the rally on big studded tyres. 8mm studs, metal studs on each tyre, 380 odd of them, and gives us a lot of grip, even more than we'd get in traditional summer events on gravel. So it's really, really nice rally.
And is that something that over the years you just get better and better at, or from the get-go were you like, I actually quite like driving on snow?
I'd done it quite a lot when I was younger. It's sort of the natural way to start to learn how to drive a rally car. It's normally to drive on a frozen lake, because you've got you've got nothing to hit basically, so you can drive around and you can create your own track on a lake, and it's your way of naturally making mistakes without being punished. So it's a really good way to discover a car's potential and how everything works. So it's where I started. It's where a lot of people would have started, but when you try and do that inside in the forest at 200 kilometers an hour and you've got trees brushing by, it's the margins are a bit less.
And where would you go to find conditions like that, Craig? I presume there's not too many frozen lakes a lot of the year round down in Waterford.
No, definitely not. No, it's all Scandinavia. All of the tests and all of the preparation for that event was done in northern Sweden. So that's it's specific for that region. It's been actually difficult for the last number of years. The rally's been close to be cancelled because of the weather's been too mild, and there hasn't been enough snow. But this year was exceptional. It was really, really good conditions, and it was enjoyable.
At what stage over the course of the weekend did you think, actually I'm at it this week and I'm feeling really comfortable, and I'm going a bit quicker than everybody else here?
It's that realisation that things are working. Quite early in the event, I had a really, really nice feeling, and we had obviously the shakedown, which is like a little test on the Thursday before the rally, and I wasn't so happy with everything there. I wasn't so happy with the car, and our speed wasn't fantastic, so I didn't start the event full of confidence. But about 2 or 3 corners into the first stage on Friday morning, I arrived a bit too fast into one corner, and I really thought that I was going to go off the road, but everything stuck, everything felt really nice, and I tried it again on the next corner, and that felt good, and I just carried that momentum and that rhythm all the way through the rally, and it worked. So it was really, really nice weekend.
The way you're talking about it, it sounds like most of it is feel as opposed to something more technical than that. Like, is that actually the case? Is it legit? Yeah, okay, I feel like my body feels okay, as opposed to I need to hit that specific part of the corner at that speed to be able to make it out.
Yeah, rallying is a bit different. It's not like circuit racing. Circuit racing is very fine. It's a very fine art, very minute details, and to exploit the absolute maximum out from a track. Let's say it's a lot more machine than man. Whereas in rallying, it takes so much confidence. So we're barreling down public roads, at 130 miles an hour, and we need to feel confident. We need to feel safe, and it's a lot about feeling and being able to let that just let your body do naturally what it feels, and not think about all the the things on the side of the road, or other factors that could cloud your mind. You're just driving by pure feel, and that's when the results really start to come.
And how do you get into that zone? Like, because it takes a couple of corners for you to feel that, or like when you get into the car, say on the final day of the weekend, because you've had a couple of good days, are you already automatically back in the zone?
Yeah, obviously at the end of the weekend, you're very much into the flow of things. It's easier, but when you start, that's like what I said. The first couple of corners in the first stage, things just went well. That's really how your weekend is shaped. Your first feeling and your first proper stage on a new road that you haven't seen. And if everything feels well there, and you have a car working underneath you that's giving you confidence, then that like I said, that shapes your whole weekend, and this weekend that worked out for me.
The other weird thing is that you've got somebody in your ear the whole time, so it's not distracting, and yet it's kind of very important that you're paying attention to what's going on over here. Not as much as obviously it's important you're paying attention to what's going on in front of you, but how do you get that balance between I'm listening to what you're telling me 3 corners down the line and actually a bit further, but I'm still just feeling this corner, so shut up for a second. How does that work?
It's a fine art. It's a fine art on the delivery from the co-driver as well. He needs to know how much information I can process at any one time. So, but to be honest, the sport has changed its shape slightly in the last couple of years, and technology has very much creeped in. And obviously, the way it works, we're driving on public roads, closed obviously at the time, but they're public, normal everyday roads, and we get what's called a recce on the Tuesday and Wednesday before the rally. We get 2 passes just at normal road speed, maximum like 60 or 70 k's an hour. But when we're doing that, we have a camera inside in the car, just behind, like in between the two of us, recording everything. And when the recce finishes, we go back to the hotel and we watch and watch and watch and watch over and over and over, and try to learn the stages as best we can. And to be honest, in the rally, it's more of a confirmation. Like, yeah, I'm there. Yeah, that's that place. Yeah. It's just for me not to get confused. That I'm not in the. I'm thinking of somewhere else. So I've already got a rough image, and then Scott is confirming it then by what he's saying. So that's a completely different shape to the sport how it was, 15 years ago. There was pure pace. Now drivers were, driving blind. So it's changed the sport somewhat.
How long is each track that you're basically trying to develop the photographic memory of? Is there a standard length, or does it vary from venue to venue?
It varies. You can have like some rallies, like Mexico, for example. They've gone extreme. Sometimes you have 60-kilometer stages, and then Corsica in France have had 50-kilometer stages there. And to try and remember every single corner is difficult. And bearing in mind that's just one stage. Like there was 19 stages in Sweden, so to try and remember, it was 350 kilometers of stages. To try to remember every single corner and to cram it all in, it's a bit tricky.
It seems to me that the more challenging the stage, the longer the stage, the more information you have to process, the more that actually works in your favour.
Yeah, it does, and it's something that I've really tried to work hard on over the last couple of years, and to try to remember as best as I can. And honestly, it's something I always struggle with. Memory games, or even as a kid, I was terrible. I couldn't, if you gave me a pattern and tried to do it, 10 seconds later, I couldn't remember. But stages I can remember really, really well, and I can build up a big picture. And I think that's one of the best strengths that I have at the moment. So I hope I don't get any knocks in the head. It might knock that good straight out of me.
Craig, what's the crack with the car? So I'm given to understand that you won't have it for the next couple of races. What is that situation? How does that work?
It's a bit of a political nightmare. If I'm to be, completely honest. Sebastian Loeb, the 9-time world champion, he has a rich and rich and successful history with the PSA group, with Citroën over the years. Obviously, he won his 9 world titles with Citroën. And he retired at the end of 2012, and has always tempted to come back and do something. And this year, lo and behold, he decided to go back, and he wants to do 3 rallies. So unfortunately, budget is quite tight at the moment in the PSA group. So it means that I have to give up my car for 3 rallies, and 2 of them are one after the other. So Mexico in the next rally I won't do, and then my absolute favourite rally of the year in Corsica, I won't do it either. So it's a bit of a shame, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm sure it's a bit of a pain, and like coming off the back of an amazing result like that, it's probably more of a pain. But at least you have just had an amazing result to go, well, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, it is good. It's probably the best way for it to happen. But still, when you build up that momentum and you build up that confidence, you like to carry it forward onto the next one. And now I've got to stop for 2.5 months. So to be politically correct about the whole thing, it's out of my hands, and the team are 150% behind me. But this is something that's been decided by the hierarchy, and we can't do anything about it.
How does that situation fix itself, Craig? If you wanted to race for the entire season, what is the solution here?
Money. Yeah, money is the solution to everything. So it's an expensive sport, and that's why it differs from a lot of other mainstream sports, that the financial input that goes into it is huge. And it's not only talent that gets you to the top. You have to fall into the right place at the right time with the right backing and people around you. So that's simply how it is. So it's it's a funny sport. I can't go into the garden and practice it. If I want to go and drive my car for a day, it's the guts of 50, 60,000 euros a day just to drive the car if I want to do it. So yeah, it's you have to take every single opportunity you can to drive the car and get the most of every single mile you get.
You must be getting to a level though where there are constructors who want you in their car. Like, to finish second in that obviously is, you're reaching a peak in your career where everybody goes, well, I mean, Craig Breen's really good. I want to get him in my car. Is that what happens next? Like, I mean, hopefully Sebastian Loeb retires properly next season and this isn't an issue. But is that how this works? I guess most people would be relatively familiar with Formula One, where a driver becomes good and becomes prized and then has a bit of bargaining power with the constructors who go, yeah, I want you in my car because my car's really fast and you're a good driver. Is it vaguely similar to that? Like, are you an independent contractor at the end of this year who can then go somewhere else or can renegotiate with Citroën and say, well, look, I need to be the number one driver going forward? How does that work?
Yeah, basically like that. Exactly the same as Formula One. It's all swings and roundabouts. And yeah, I signed a 2-year contract with Citroën at the end of 2016. So that'll run out at the end of this year. And yeah, they've got an option on me for next year. But yeah, it'll be. We'll be sitting around a few tables, coming towards the end of the year and trying to, see what's the best package moving forward. But of course, I'd like to stay where I am. I've built up a good relationship with them now over the years, and but yeah, it'll hopefully we'll have a good option on the table that'll bring us a little bit closer to our main goal.
There's also the relationship you have with the car. I mean, I'm sure if you had to leave the Citroën C3, it's learning how to drive, not learning how to drive, but learning the feel for another car. You've mentioned to yourself that you're a driver who depends on feel a good bit. I presume that's like learning a new craft entirely, especially when you're used to the minutiae of rally driving so much that to go from a Citroën C3 to a completely different model would be a huge task.
Yeah, absolutely, and you get so used to driving a car, and especially with the C3. I was involved in the testing process from day one, so the car has been shaped around myself and Chris Meek from Dungannon in the north. He's obviously the other driver, so it's been shaped around the two of us, and we all know its traits and how it works, and each car has got its own specific way to work, and even little things like all the cars aren't the same shape, so their aero balance and their aero package and how the cars work at high speed are all different, and yeah, that for sure takes a long time to dial in. So yeah, that's another factor where I'd like to stay where I am if I could.
How did you get into this, Craig? Like, when you're a kid, given that it's obviously unbelievably expensive, I know you don't start there, but how do you get to the point where you're like, that's what I want to do, that's my career path, and I want to end up in World Rally Championship?
I never knew any different. From when I was a child, I've been, drowned in it. My dad was twice national champion in Ireland, and followed him around every single ditch in the country, and in the back of service vans, been holding up stacks of tires on the way up the road to rallies and things like that. So it's all I've ever known. And yeah, I started in kart racing when I was 8. That's the youngest age you can be to do any form of motorsport in Ireland is karting. So the minute I turned 8 years of age, I was doing that, and I raced karts right up until I was 18, and then straight into a rally car, and yeah, it's all been fairly whirlwind since I was 8 years of age. I've been involved in some breed of motorsport.
And were you quick in karts? Did you know that actually I can do this and I'm good enough?
Yeah, I was. How can I say? I won the Irish Championship maybe 2 or 3 other times. I'm not 100% sure. And then I went on to British and European and finally World Championship karting. But my heart was always in rallying, and that was my weakness. I couldn't see my end goal being in Formula One. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel and going to Formula One, because that's not me. I'm not. How can I say? It's a different breed of people go to circuit racing, and it's a totally different breed of people compared to rallying. And I think the motivation wasn't there to get all the way in circuit racing and in karting. But the minute I got into a rally car, within the first mile or two of driving, I'm like, no, this is me, and just leave me go, and this is what I want to do.
And so when something like the weekend happens, it must be a massive national celebration for everybody in Ireland who goes karting, goes rallying, and who sees effectively one of their own make it to the very top.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. So, I'd like to think so. It's been very humbling, all the messages and you know, seeing all the support we've got since the weekend. And yeah, it's not a mainstream sport, so it falls it falls very much under the radar sometimes. But you know, I think it's really starting to turn a little bit. People are starting to take a bit more notice, and yeah, now it's really nice. But the sport is live all weekend, from start to finish. So it's you can watch every single stage online at any point during the weekend. So it's not this hidden sort of, I don't know, dirty sport that's, you know, in a forest somewhere, no one knows that it's happening. It's, you know, in people's faces now, and that's great. And you know, it helps all the way back to, you know, grassroots. You know, if people know about the sport, it's easier to get sponsorship. It's easier to get, you know, packages together to get new people up to the sport. So it's you know, if my profile and what I'm doing, you know, can build a sport in Ireland and build a sport, you know, for everybody else coming up, then I'd be more than happy.
And so, what are you going to do with your 2.5 months off?
I have 2.5 months off. Yeah, it's a bit strange. I've got to go to Mexico as the next rally. I have to go there and do some work with the TV. So I've got to go and watch everybody do it, which won't be easy. And yeah, I'll have a test before the next rally in Argentina in April, and yeah, that's me back on the bandwagon again.
So you're going to become a commentator for the next race?
Yeah, it's something that normally happens if a driver is sidelining an event. They'll bring them in as an expert view, but yeah, it'll be a bit tough to watch watch everybody.
You'll be like, that Sebastian Loeb guy, he used to be really good. I'm not sure he's got it anymore though.
Something like that. Yeah. I'll put a few sly ones on the side.
But listen, congratulations. It's an absolutely amazing story. Keep it up, and I hope that the next 2.5 months are okay for you, but we can't wait to see you back in the car. Thanks a million.
Perfect. Thanks very much for your time. Thank you.
It's Craig Breen there with an unbelievable story.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Like he mentions there that like it sometimes goes under the radar, but when it's on the radar, you realise how unbelievably the people who are big into rally are about the sport. I certainly see it down in Killarney on Maybank Holiday Weekend when the Rally of the Lakes is in town. The town just gets taken over by people, the rally drivers, essentially, the people who are wannabe rally drivers. Sometimes it can be a little bit tough for the authorities trying to stop people doing donuts and stuff in big areas. But other than that, it's usually just people who are very, very passionate about this thing, who love to get out there and watch this happen. And most of them are locals who are just not really hopping on a bandwagon as such. They're big into this thing, and it is the highlight of their year. So to say that there's not a lot of passionate people about it is a complete lie in this country. It's that is the way it is, and it's great to see Craig Breen doing his thing, and hopefully, as you say, this thing will get resolved pretty soon, and we'll see him having a full season. Basically, would be a good start. Yeah,
no, fair play to him for like being fairly open about the situation as well. It must be a real pain in the nuts. Like the most famous guy in the world wants your car. Got to give it to him for 3 races.
Yeah, and it's a blessing in disguise, the timing of it as well, because as you mentioned, it's grand because his stock is still high. He's not going to suffer too much from the 2.5 months. But at the same time, his stock is so high, you want to get back in that car straight away. You want to go to, it's a Corsica and then Mexico. Like, you want to be in those races, particularly in Mexico, where you'd imagine there's going to be a huge volume of people there to watch you do your thing. Like, I know I'm kind of generalising here, but Mexico have had Formula 1, for example. I presume they're big into their motorsports in the entire country as a whole. So, like that is the one that once you get over to that side of the Atlantic, for sure.
Tommy Byrne ended up in Mexico, and for a fair portion of his career, that's where it tells the story about he knows it's at the end when he's in Mexico, but there seems to be like a proper Mexican circuit.
Sure, there is. Like, I think once you're racing over there, I'd imagine it's just almost a different world entirely when it comes to motorsport. So it's a huge shame to be missing that. But I guess the consolation is that his stock is really high now. It's not going to fall too far. Yeah, no, we'll definitely keep an eye on Craig and talk to him again in advance of the next time he gets into the cars.